This week, I'm in London, Ontario, Canada. And I'm going to be hanging out with Greg and John, owners of Whistling Dick's Barbershop and the Mockingbird Speakeasy Bar. I'm going to start the day cutting hair at Whistling Dick's with the super talented Randy. And then I'm going to be heading back to the Mockingbird where mixologist Leo will whip us up some tasty drinks. The city of London is booming right now, with all kinds of things to do and see, particularly in the Old East Village. There, you'll find outdoor art and an assortment of restaurants offering gastro delights from around the world. Later, Greg will be guiding me around town, showing me what the city has to offer. Along the way, we'll be making a stop at the historic 100 Kellogg Lane to sample some beers and spirits.
Welcome to Powerhouse, located here at London, Ontario at 100 Kellogg Lane. And I'm not sure if you know that this used to be the Kellogg's plant for all of Canada, North America. We distributed all the cereals, closed in 2014. And it was the vision to kind of reinvent the whole complex and turn it into a destination. And they really wanted to emulate the whole distillery district feel in Toronto. So we have our brewery here, our distillery across the way that makes their own craft gins, vodkas, and whiskeys from the same grains as Kellogg's cereals. And then we have lots of space here for patio, outdoor markets at Christmas time and in the summer, and a concert series as well.
Promotional consideration provided by the Old East Village BIA. Welcome to the Global Barber. I'm Cedric Small. I'm excited to be back on the road in Canada. This season, I'll be working in a wide variety of shops in some of the more rural towns and in the big cities too. Throughout my journey this season, I'll be delving into the history of some of these areas, visiting museums, and working in some of the country's oldest barbershops. As usual, when the workday is done, we'll be visiting some of the best breweries, wineries, and restaurants each area has to offer.
I asked for the magic camera to be put on me for the, to remove the 10 pounds instead of add the 10 pounds. Unfortunately, you got the camera that adds it.
Perfect. Thanks, I needed that.
Hey, no problem.
I'm going to cut towards the mirror if that's okay. You cut away from the mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that.
So it's a big surprise at the end.
That's what I usually do. I can do whatever you guys need me to do. If I have to move around to see, then I'll do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
No problem.
As long as it doesn't affect performance.
See that?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you're good.
Well, you might end up looking pretty funny.
Whistling Dick's. How did you guys come up with that name?
Yeah, and that's a question we get a lot. So the Whistling Dick's name came about when Greg and I were sitting around one day trying to think of names for the barbershop. And so we started doing some research into industrial era barbers and came across a gentleman by the name of Richard Milburn. So Richard was an African-American barber living in Philadelphia at the time, working in his dad's barbershop, and the entire time he would cut hair, he would whistle. So his name being Richard, his customers started to call him Whistling Dick. The story gets even better, where Richard went on to become a relatively famous music composer, composed his first song in the late 1800s, and that song was called Listen to the Mockingbird, which is the name of our speakeasy cocktail bar. So that copy of sheet music went on to sell over 20 million copies, which back in the late 1800s which would have been very significant. And now in the US, you can find Richard Milburn's School of Compositions in several different states throughout the US. So it's a pretty cool story.
And the song became an American anthem, Listen to the Mockingbird. And through that, we've decided to call our little speakeasy bar in behind the barbershop the Mockingbird.
Could have brought more money.
Yeah, I was gonna say shit.
Even though he's like 3 inches taller than me, you know, like he's still my baby brother. So just make sure that's like somehow in the video there.
Just to keep on there. Alright, well let's get heads up. Let's a real good heads up. Yeah. Like this, right? Yeah.
Like, I was thinking things like, you know, you work 16 hours, you're helping out your buddies, you go fix some cars, you drink 12 beers, and you sleep 3 hours and you're back at it. Well, that would kill me today, but
Yeah.
in those moments,
Oh,
just think,
get a little
you know,
yeah.
How did you end up here in this location? Like, why this part of London?
The Oldies Village is very much a growing neighborhood that's attracting a younger, sort of a vibrant, hipster crowd, sort of, in this neighborhood, young adults.
So this area used to be the old downtown
The original.
core back in like, the early 1900s.
Since you guys aren't trained barbers, what made you want to open a barber shop?
We figured, you know what, it'd be nice if there was something more for men that was something along the lines of what, you know, women are after. They get appointments and they get to sit down, they get to be treated, you know, a little bit, not just like a mill barber where you go and you wait and you have to, you know, wait for a guy to show up to do your haircut or whatever. You can pick an appointment, you can go and you can spend half an hour to 45 minutes, get a hot towel shave, bring it back, you know, and that's why we sort of designed the front room to sort of, you know, with our own take on what the 1920s and 30s men's traditional barbershop would be like.
Yeah, there's the nostalgia of the barbershop. You know, when you think of back in the late 1800s and mid 1800s, if little Johnny was riding his bike and he wanted to find Dad on a Saturday morning, well, there was a good chance he was going down to the barbershop because Dad was hanging out down there with his buddies, drinking whiskey and ale and smoking cigars. So we wanted to create this this community where men and customers alike could come and feel very comfortable with having conversations about whatever they wanted to talk about, regardless of what it was. So.
Yeah, because back in the day, that was the space. Like, that was your internet, that was your newspapers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't have any televisions out there. You know, we don't restrict, but we do sort of ask people to stay off their phones. We play, you know, from morning to midday. We play, you know, a lot of the 20s, 30s, and 40s jazz compilations and music that sort of bring back the mood or the feel of that era. And it's very calming and warm. It's a very welcoming place, and it's got a very cool vibe.
Okay, I'll go back to my cocktail.
These are such a bad idea.
You guys are messing with the talent. Where's my Asian?
Sitting out of your cocktail. This will give you the same look and feel, but you just won't have to have all that hair. Good strong chin. Are you sensitive to your neck at all?
Not sensitive at all.
While I finish up my last cut of the day, Leo's been mixing up some fancy cocktails for us back at the Mockingbird Speakeasy Bar. After work, Greg took me on a little tour of the old East Village. All within a couple of blocks, you'll find outdoor art, all kinds of restaurants, theaters, galleries, a concert hall, breweries, and distilleries. On our way to 100 Kellogg Lane, we stopped to do a little shopping.
Hi, my name's Dan Phillips and welcome to Ilber & Goose. We're a Canadian lifestyle brand located right here in the Old East Village of London, Ontario. We are truly unique and entirely Canadian.
Promotional consideration provided by Tourism London, Ontario, Canada.
Welcome to Powerhouse, located here at London, Ontario at 100 Kellogg Lane. And I'm not sure if you know that this used to be the Kellogg's plant for all of Canada, North America, close to 2014. And it was the vision to kind of reinvent the whole complex and turn it into a destination. And they really wanted to emulate the whole distillery district feel in Toronto. So we have our brewery here, our distillery across the way that makes their own craft gins, vodkas, and whiskeys from the same grains as Kellogg's cereals.
So what are we tasting today?
Well, I think a good thing for people who are not beer drinkers, and I'm not saying you guys are not, we like to start people off with a flight. It's just a good way to try a little bit of variety of our beers, and you can kind of gauge which ones will be your favorite rather than committing to a full pint. Then it turns into a little bit like Baskin-Robbins. So people are like, can I try a little of that, a little of that? So this way, you've got 4 4-ounce glasses, and we like to start people off with our lightest beer and work our way, not necessarily to our heaviest, but like the flavors change as you get to the darker beers. So what we have here to start with is our cream ale, the low voltage cream ale. It is our most popular beer, bestseller for sure. And this is for people that enjoy beer but don't like the bitterness of it. So there's really a nice clean aftertaste to it, very smooth. Start next with the Dundas Pilsner. And this Pilsner is dry hopped, so after it's been brewed, the dry hops are thrown in, and it gives it a little bit more of that bite to it. So for people that want beer with flavor, this would be their go-to beer. And then next, our IPA, a new one that we just launched, is the Fruit Looped IPA, a play on a Kellogg cereal, an ode to the past, and there is a toucan somewhere on the label hidden there in the silhouette. So this is a fruity IPA, strongest in alcohol content, and you will have that bitterness, but also the sweetness will offset a little bit of that. And then to finish, we have our Deep Cycle Porter. Not quite a stout, and it does have that chocolate and coffee notes to it too, so.
Well, let's try it.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, let's go with this one.
Cedric.
So what's this one?
That will be the low voltage cream ale.
Email.
Ah, nice.
Say when you guys brewed for us.
Yeah, you served this at your place.
That's great.
Oh, that is good, eh?
Great refreshment.
Now, you serve them on draft here, but you offer them too for people can just come in and buy them?
Of course, yeah. For people who are dining here and they want to, once they find out what beers they like, and if it's their first time especially, like, hey, can I take that beer to go home with me? So we offer in 4-packs and in 6-packs, or they can buy a whole case if they really did love it.
Oh, nice.
But it's just something to keep them coming back for more, and this is the place for them to come and buy it.
What's the next? What you
The next one will be the Dundas Dry Hop Pilsner. A little nod to the address. We're on 100 Kellogg Lane and Dundas Street, so that's the name of that beer. This is a dry hop Pilsner.
That's nice, eh? A little bit of a sour to it.
Yeah, so you get that note at the end.
Ah, nice. My favorite, the red.
The Fruit Looped Fruity IPA.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Fruit Looped.
Oh, that's nice, eh?
Yeah.
Good for summer.
5 different berries in there. Yeah, it's just a limited run, so it's a seasonal one. It's not something that we'll do over and over again. And then the Deep Cycle Porter for your last to try.
It's like coffee.
Yeah.
And where do you get all the names for the beers?
It is a little bit of the brewmaster insight into that, as well as the owners, but our staple beers especially, they wanted a little nod at, being the powerhouse. Let's keep it going with that electricity kind of feel. So you have your generator, you've got the low voltage. Homecoming is a nod of being in a university city, is a big thing with Western, and that's our American Pale Ale. Is a good gateway beer. But yeah, so the names are creative off of a lot of things from like London and stuff to do with
History of the building, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this was the power plant for Kellogg's originally.
Yes, that's where the name came from, Powerhouse. So all the electricity for the entire complex was powered through here. So we no longer use the smokestacks out back, which are just in our picture of the logo. But to keep that silhouette of everything, this is where the power comes from, the brewery name was born.
Hey guys, welcome to Paradigm. My name's Tyler. I'll be walking you guys through a flight taste today.
Excellent.
And what are we going to be tasting today?
So today we've got 4 of our spirits that we're going to show you. We got a vodka, 2 gins, and we have a whiskey. And then afterwards, we're going to try a very special whiskey.
Oh, nice.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, guys.
This is delicious, beautiful whiskey. Which one had won the award, the best Canadian whiskey of the year?
Well, they both kind of did. So actually, our first edition whiskey, just at the Ascot Awards, which was the first time they ran this awards ceremony, but it's a really reputable award, mostly because of the judges that sit on the panel are very, very well known in the whiskey world. And we won Canadian Whiskey of the Year.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations,
Yeah, thanks. Nice. It was very exciting. It's almost no surprise though when you have a first sip of it, because
Let's have our first sip of this.
Yeah.
Cheers.
This one or this one? We're gonna go with the one. This one.
There
Yeah.
you go. Oh yeah, that's great.
Oh, very nice.
Very smooth. Very just, I guess what I don't know how to describe it. It's just very smooth. It's got more of like that caramel tones. It sits at 42.9%, so it's not too heavy on you. And yeah, it's just a remarkably versatile whiskey.
And what's this one?
This is our 19-year heritage whiskey. This is made with 100% corn. It was aged in new barrel its entire life.
How long has this heritage been aged?
It's been aged for 19 years in a new oak barrel since the age of 2000. It's also cask strength, which is probably what you just experienced there. It was funny, we had the construction guys come in and they're like, yeah, we could take whiskey. And we're like, sure you can. Give him a 70s, like, teary-eyed.
This is absolutely phenomenal.
So that sits at about 67.9% alcohol. It is very complex. It's more so for your experienced whiskey drinker, I would say, but just a wonderful, wonderful product. It's the first thing you want to do is take a sip that's very small, almost let it evaporate in your mouth. That kind of gets your palate acclimated to what you're tasting. And then next thing you know, second, third, fourth sips, they just start opening right up. And it becomes incredibly smooth and actually very sweet.
Yeah, I can taste the sweetness and the smooth after, yeah, but it's very overpowering at the first.
At first, yeah. I feel my eyes water.
Yeah, I always have to give a warning to, which I...
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us over to the taste here with Tyler.
By all means, man.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Awesome, man.
Great to be here.
It was amazing.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Accommodations for guests of the Global Barber provided by the Park Hotel. Special thanks to the Old East Village BIA, also Greg, John, Randy, and Leo at Whistling Dick's, and everyone at Powerhouse Brewing Company and Paradigm Spirits.